So yeah, I've begun my drawing of the hieroglyph on this other movable lighted poster holder. Anyway, I want to just show y'all something real quick. So I've just drawn in the sheep. It should be very obvious to you. You see the dead sheep and the head of the kid. It's very obvious. There's a dead sheep. You can see the reptile too. I mean, it's very easy for me to see it. I just got to draw in the rest of the reptile's tail wrapping around. It's hidden in the shadows. I see it. So that's the egg. That's the shell of the child right there. That's his head is the egg. And so it's birthing the new consciousness. So there's the egg now. Just watch how simple. And then I just went over this. There you go. No augmentations, just put it in. There's the dead sheep right there. And you can see the reptile. I just gotta add the little tail segments going around because I see them in there. But so there's a dead sheep for sure right there in the head of a kid, and the head is an egg. And look how obvious the serpent being is. Look at him. There's his eye, nose, frowny mouth, top of his head, his neck. Then that's penis and a scrotum, no doubt about it. I mean, look how obvious this is. Is that not penetration or what? Of course it is. So now the mystery becomes very clear. So I just want to make sure everyone just kind of understands to be able to see this and go, yeah, there's a serpent being right here. There's his head, there's his neck, turns into penetration, male and female. There's copulation, there's a penis penetrating a female vagina. There's a girl on her knees right there. And then here's the devil, the negative space. There's the eye of the devil, the other eye of the devil. So there's an eye, there's an eye. Here's his nose, there's his mouth right here. There's his chin, and there's his horn, the negative space going up. The other horn wraps around the head of the kid. And the kid for sure is a dead sheep. You can see it now that I've outlined it and had to look for all the changes in shadows. Look at what the artist did with his chisel, the difference in shadows. And once I do that, I can simply show you this. This image right here, you can easily see. There's the sheep's eye, the tongue sticking out, the nostril, the open mouth, and then the ear is right here, the other part of the segmented part of the kid's head. So then when I go like this, and I put it on there, there's the dead sheep. You just have to let this become the ear of the sheep. There it is. What's crazy, it's the same way I did my artwork. So the Lord had me use light as my medium. The Bible says the light exposes the darkness. Had a sunglass company come out of the darkness into the light. So looks like this was a predestined deal, obviously. So anyway, there it is. We'll be looking at this in much greater detail. All right, guys, check it out. So there's the light board. So I want everybody to understand there was more than just some guy, Jonathan Clegg, showing you hidden pictures. It's a lot bigger than that. It's way bigger than that. This is the guy that got saved at the St. Anthony in a very supernatural way. And during that meeting that I had, the night that I got saved, when I was told, Jonathan, read the tags and the closures carrying by a supernatural spirit that enveloped me. And I was in that hotel room with Lou, and that spirit that enveloped me said, read the tags in the clothes you're carrying. I had some clothes in my hands. I threw them on the bed. Well, first I said, some source is communicating with me. He's telling me to read the tags in the clothes I'm carrying. So I threw them on the bed. I read the first shirt, and it said 100% nylon, which doesn't make any sense at all. I thought maybe, it's reasonable to think maybe I thought something really bad had happened to me. And I looked at the ceiling and I said, that doesn't make any sense. And then that voice said, Jonathan, turn it upside down, nylon upside down. So I turned the word nylon, 100% nylon. I turned it upside down, 100% nylon upside down. When you turn that shirt upside down, it's upside down and backwards. It said, no lion, Nolyn. I sounded it out. 100% no lion, and then my whole body just turned like zzz. It's like someone was shocking me from above, just all around me. But not a bad way, not a bad thing, an awesome thing. I was like, whoa, what is this? And that's when I was like, what's going on? You cannot lie, not even 1% to receive what I'm going to give you. So I was like, oh, wow, okay, no lying, 100% no lying. And I didn't realize the Lord was about to give me the truth of the mystery of the whole world, of existence of everything, which is turn everything the opposite direction to see the truth. He was doing it right then and there. Didn't know it then, but I knew to receive what the Lord, this communication that was going on, I had to invert everything to see the truth, and I had to speak the truth. Okay, so then I read the next tag, and there was a triangle. He said, now look at the other shirt. It is a triangle with an X through it. And I looked at it and I went, it's a triangle with an X through it. What does that mean? Jonathan, the pyramid is your enemy. Well, this is from the pyramids, guys. The National Geographics I showed you yesterday, when the Lord used that to tell me this is how I'm going to show it, solving the riddle of ages, and then down there it says the gospel truth. The pyramid is your enemy. Okay, well, this was in, this is after the fact, but so here's the point. The night I got called, I was told 100% no lying, turn everything upside down, and then the pyramid is your enemy. Okay, that is tantamount that you understand that the night I got saved, that was the communication from the Lord. And this is what ensued after that. Now, this is a piece of wood. This was given to me by a guy named Marcel. He signed it down here. He was at the art gallery where Vlad Iwer, one of our little offices, was in San Antonio. And he drew this and he walked up and he gave it to me. He only spoke Spanish. He was from Guatemala and he specialized in images of the Virgin de Guadalupe. That was his main artwork shtick. That's what he did. Understand, he did this in 2001. I didn't get saved till 2002. He actually wrote on it right here, 2001. You can probably see it right there. It's a little faded. But 2001, so I could not see when he handed me this thing and he said, oh, Jonathan, mira, yo lo hago para ti. It's like, I made this for you. And I had vampire sunglasses. I thought, well, okay, that's nice. I didn't know what to say except, oh, wow, it's pretty good. Looks like me. Put fangs on me. Notice my eyes are closed. He put sunglasses on me. And that's all I noticed. I was like, okay, now remember the Bible says Jesus has come to restore the sight to the blind. In 2001, I was not saved. But in 2002, after I was saved and I saw this thing in my gallery, I looked at it and I was like, what in the hell is going on? There's a dead sheep on top of my head right here. And he used the knot in the wood to make the water leaking out of the eye. Kind of like the water coming out of the eye on this sheep right here. Oh, weird. I hadn't even done this yet, though. Remember this. This was not even done. So I'm like, what's with the dead sheep with the water coming out of the eye and the tongue sticking out? Why is there a goat? Eye, nose, horn, ear. Why is there a dead sheep and why is there a sleeping goat on my head? What the hell's going on? Now just imagine you're me. 100% nylon, turn it upside down, 100% no lying. To see the truth, you have to invert everything. And then the pyramid's your enemy, the night I got saved. And then after that, my vision is restored. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? This guy's drawing images. This guy did an image of me in 2001. And here it is right here. I'll put it right here with the light behind it. You can see the knot in the wood makes it look like water coming out. Just like the sheep right here. See the sheep? There's the teardrop coming out. Look, there's a sheep with the teardrop. I hadn't even done this yet. This was not even in my purview. It wasn't even given. Okay, so then I see a goat. There's the eye, the nose, the ear, the horn. There's the hoof of the goat coming around as my sideburn. And I'm like, what the hell? And then I'm like, well, those who try and hide their plans, they turn everything upside down. So I drew the thing in and I'm like, that's a freaking sheep with its tongue sticking out and that's a goat. Well, I had read the Bible and the Lord had me in the Bible since I got saved. And I'll judge between one sheep and another, separating the sheep from the goats. Sheep is right side up, goat's upside down. And I'm like, what's going on here? Now, here's where he signed his name right down here. And I noticed he put like 3 pyramids, like the 3 pyramids of Giza. Why did he do that? But he drew a picture of like a Mayan Indian. There's an eye, there's the nose, there's the lip, there's the bottom chin, there's his hat. So he's wearing like this hat. I've seen this before in the Mayan culture. And he's wearing that. And there's 3 pyramids and there's a Mayan guy where he signed his name. How freaking weird is this? Okay, so now this all plays into everything I'm about to show you. Okay, so those who try and hide their plans, they turn everything upside down. So there's the sheep, there's the goat. So let's invert it. There's a serpent with its 2 eyes and its mouth open and its tail around my neck. And there's a serpent eating me. Like, what in the hell is going on here? Why did some dude named Marcel say, hey, ole, Jonathan, mira, yo lo hago para ti. ¿Le gusta? Sí, ¿le gustas? Do you like it? I'm like, yeah, it's nice. Thank you, I guess. Pretty weird, but, you know, he drew a caricature of me. But guess what? He drew the same damn thing as a hieroglyph that's 1,300 years BC. Wrap your brain around that, false prophet hunters. Okay, there you go. So this matches this. I hadn't even seen this yet or done this yet. Okay, now we're going to put this off to the side. I'm going to show you something else. Okay, so here's another caricature Alex from Starbucks did of me. There's a dead sheep behind my ear with its tongue sticking out. The same thing as a hieroglyph, 1,300 BC. Same thing here and the same thing here. Do you see what you are looking at? Do you understand? What did Jesus say he's come to do? Restore the sight to the blind, redouble your eyes, right? Restore the sight to the blind. Opening of the dungeon to them that are bound. Bound to what? Bound together to this thing. We've been bound together to the serpent race. Hello? You see the dead sheep? How is it possible that I said, I'll bet you $1 million, Alex, the barista over there, I said to Chris, the manager of Starbucks, I'll bet you $1 million that guy over there draws a picture of me. And when he does, he puts an image of a dead sheep on my face. And he did. A week and a half later, Alex said, hey, Johnny, I drew a picture of you. And I'm like, really? And he handed me this thing on a piece of paper, and I'll show it to you during the video without me drawing it in. And when I saw it, I go, oh, wow, check it out, Chris. Alex drew a picture of me. And he put a dead sheep. Well, there's a dead sheep. There's a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. And the Vatican just happens to be a big serpent with the mouth of the serpent as a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. Do you see the problem now? Do you see why I'm so intent on everybody seeing and understanding this? Because these are your captors. These are the ones that took you hostage. These are the ones that are holding you for ransom. This is what's going on in this world. Do you understand? You've been latched together with another race of beings. You've been yoked together with them in the land of confusion, Babylon, mixed race. That's what it means. Mixed race, land of confusion. So now, here we go. Okay, so now do you understand? These things were delivered to me in order. In order. That was done in 2001. 2001, I couldn't even see there was a dead sheep and a goat. I couldn't even see it. But then after I got saved, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why is there a dead sheep on my head? Why is there a goat? Why is there a freaking serpent eating me? And then the Lord shows me this in a National Geographic. He tells me to blow the whole thing up into a poster. He tells me to build a light board, and I do what he says. Then he tells me to draw in all the changes of shadow, and guess what? It matches a piece of wood that a guy named Marcel drew of me? No. And it just happens to also be the same thing that Alex, the barista at Starbucks, did. Same thing. And it just happens to match a card my wife gave me after I was like, why are you starting so many fights? It doesn't make any sense. And my wife gives me this card right here. When you find yourself out on a limb and you open it up, it says, you always have a friend in me. I'm like, why did you give me a card with 2 girls sitting in a tree? It's a serpent. There's the serpent's eye. There's his open mouth. That's the bottom jaw. That's a serpent with his jaw open. So those who try and hide their plans, they turn everything upside down. Let's do it. Why is there a serpent here upside down eating a sheep? Well, that's the same thing as a hieroglyph. That's 1300 BC. Serpent eating sheep. Same thing, same thing, same thing, same thing. Who were the children of Israel enslaved to? The Egyptians. Wasn't it Moses that went up against them and their false gods to show everybody who the real God is? Well, guess what? I'm doing the same thing as Moses. I'm showing you who the real God is, not these guys. These guys are running the show of the system here. Okay, now, oddly enough, this guy plays into the whole thing too. Because if you can't just see it from me pointing it out, I'd be shocked. There's the eye of the serpent. There's the eye of the serpent coming down to the nose of the serpent, the open mouth. There's the fang of the serpent right there on his forehead, and it turns into a sperm. So the serpent's bite is a sperm. Get it? The serpent's bite is a sperm. Get it? Okay, why is this guy right here a serpent in the garden? Why? Do you see that this hand, that's not a hand, that's a reptile. That's the eye of the reptile. That's the ridge of the eye of the reptile. There's the open mouth of the reptile. That's a reptile's head. See it? It's the head of a reptile. Do you see what's going on here? So now I'm trying to explain to everybody, y'all are caught in a system of control called the flesh. And it is a way to turn you into an inert, mindless drone. And you don't even think for yourself because everything you see on TV and all that crap is programmed. Y'all, it's the mainstream legacy media. Have you figured it out yet? They carry water for this. That's all it is. And they just don't want you to ever come to the knowledge of the truth. Because the goal is don't ever let any of the people that are here, the angels that are trapped, don't ever let them get converted because the goal is your soul. You get it? And I'm fighting for the well-being of your soul. And all the while being attacked by the people that are attached to this, which all makes sense now. Why do you think if the world hates you? Who do you think started all this? Elohim said, let us create man in our image. The word image is salam. It means a vain show. It means a representative figure, especially an idol. The human host body is an idol. And the angels aren't supposed to participate in it. So if you're participating in it, you're guilty. So if you have a host body, you're under condemnation. Why do you think you have to be born again of the Spirit? Because that's what saves your eternal soul. Okay, now you ready to redraw that thing in? Let's do it. Okay, so I'm using my letter opener on this. Just, I need something with a very sharp edge, but I don't want to be holding a knife. So I have this letter opener. So I want you guys just to take a look right here at the eye right here. This is the eye of the sheep right here. And so I'm going to draw all this in, but I want you to look at the nuances. I want you to look at the line of the shadow right here. See the shadow? Okay, and then the shadow goes here, but I want you to notice something very curious. You see there's another line right here, and you see the white right here. There's like white. So there's actually another line right here that blocks in the white between this line and this line. So when I draw it in, I want you to be aware of it because here it is, I've drawn it in. So I just want you to see. So I've already gone ahead and just drawn in some very basic rudimentary stuff. So you guys can see now this becomes the egg. This is the hatching of the consciousness of this consciousness where they're going to hold the sheep captive, and the sheep are the angels that get caught in the system that are willing to go against the Lord God and take the forbidden fruit, which is the host body system. So anyway, so as we look down here, I'm gonna start filling in the sheep first, and then what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll block in the reptile. And the reptile's tail is right here in these little white shadow here, here, and here, and coming around here, and I can see it right here. And so every nuance is important because there's changes in shadow here, here, here. And so most people would never think that, but let me just show you how simple this really is. Look at that. So you can tell I've done nothing except simply trace around what's actually there. There it is. So there's your sheep. Now just stop and consider what you're being shown right now. Now this is off the other hieroglyph. This is a different size. You can tell this one's smaller. This is from the hieroglyph in the other room. So I want you to just look at what you're looking at. That's a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out, guys. So now what we're going to do is we're going to draw this thing in kind of in high speed, and we're going to speed the reel up for you like the other one. And that's what I'm not going to talk for a while until we get that done. Anyway, so here we go, guys. Listen up. So, I presented this to you. I drew this in right in front of you. This has been drawn in now in high speed. The lines that are there, but you could not have seen the nuances and the changes in shadow. I would not have been able to pick up the eye of the reptile, which is right there, which is the nostril of the sheep, without seeing the nuances, the changes in shadow. Now you know that the Lord sent me. I mean, who would blow this thing up into a giant poster? And who would build an entire light board in order to say, this is what I heard the Lord telling me to do, and then it pans out to be this, which is the same as the Vatican? Okay, it's not even remotely possible. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put these pieces back on for you on this side, because we've drawn this side in. You've already seen it. And then I'm going to deconstruct this right in front of you. Then we're going to go in the other room, and on the other light board, we're going to draw this back in. So you can see this was all a supernatural, Holy Spirit, supernatural gift that wasn't meant for 5 people to say that they had some kind of ownership. This was given to one person. Yahweh is given. All right. Okay, so I want to show y'all something. I want to get to this. The head of the child right here. Obviously, his face, he's right up in the face of his father. The Pharaoh, it looks like he's about to kiss him on the lips, doesn't it? Isn't that fascinating? Judas betrayed Jesus with a kiss. So anyway, but let me slide this thing up right here and let me show you something. This dark area that's the shadow of the kid's hand, I can see the curve it takes, and this becomes part of the same imagery. It's going this way. There's that little V right there that's very distinctly carved between the two, and so I'm going to just go right back up there and I'm going to show you. So I colored all that in front of you yesterday on a different light board, but there's the same thing. So now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this down here. I want you to see what it is. Look at that. That's the creature that's eating the sheep. There's his eye. There's the shadow of his eye on the far side, eyebrow, his nose, his open mouth, and the tongue coming out of his mouth, going directly to the mouth of the child whose spirit he is taking. What's the whole earth about? Isn't it about Satan prowling around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour? Well, let me show you whom he's devouring right here. He's devouring his own kid. And there you go. So we'll go right here. And he's going for what? The spirit, the breath of his own child. And that's why we've been yoked together. Inside of you, you have a race of beings that is stealing your essence through the host body system. And here's absolute proof. Okay, there's the creature right there. And I'm just taping him up. So there he is. And you can see everything matches up the lines. All the lines match. Everything's where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to put that on there. So now we have the creature. Those who try and hide their plans from the Lord, they turn everything upside down. Who's they? The pyramid. The pyramid is your enemy. The night I got saved. Wow, this is from the pyramid. I wonder what the odds are. Okay, now let's look. How did they do it? Let's look down here. Take a look at what you're looking at. I drew it in yesterday for you. Right here, there is the penetration of this serpent being's penis into this female's vagina right there. There's no arguing that. It was drawn in right in front of you through me by the Holy Spirit. So that's why when people call me a false prophet, they just cast dispersions on the spirit that made that manifest. So that's not good. So don't do it. So here we go. Now, the creature's eating his own kid. The creature is a representation of this entity, and the cumulative sum of the whole thing is a giant face of the evil one. That's the whole thing is the face of the evil one. E pluribus unum. Think of many out of one. This whole thing is a giant face, but it's an agenda of their hive. Do you understand how profound this is? And here's the way they do it. What everybody thinks sex is love. No, it's not. Sex is lust and desire. It's a whole different thing. Love is a whole different thing. Okay, so here's the creature eating his own kid. Here is our serpent being right inside Akhenaten, looking back the opposite. There's his eye looking back that direction. Here's Akhenaten with his face mouth to mouth to his own child. But the creature is really the system upside down, taking the breath of the child, which is the sheep. See the sheep? There's the sheep's eye, the tongue, nostril on the far side, open mouth. So there's a dead sheep. Here's the creature taking his breath. Here's the one that's responsible for the insemination of the female. So we're going to take this right now and we're going to attach it to the female. So let's go down here. So now here's the serpent being impregnating the woman. There it is. Now let's put that up where it goes. You ready? You want to see supernatural? You want to see miraculous? You want to see only God could have done this? Not some guy named Jonathan Kleck, and not other people that say, oh, look, Donald Trump's in this hieroglyph. It's like, sorry. No, he's not. He's not in the hieroglyph. Okay, there you go. There it is. There it is put together. And the result from this is the spiritual being trapped in hell. This is where the energy goes from killing the sheep. So here's the sheep, and the spirit's being taken from the sheep, and that energy goes to the pit, and that no one gets out. He's got his feet on the door. So here is the system. Okay, one thing I forgot to do is, very important. Let's take a look down here. And there you go. So there's the dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. Let's go even there you go. Look at that. So I outlined that in silver. My goodness. So there's a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. Now, here's the reptilian being that's birthing out of the Kelipot that's attached to the Sitra Akra, the realm of evil from the other side. So here's the serpent being. There's his eye. See it? See his tail wrapped around? So now you have a serpent being, a serpent race that is benefiting off the death of that sheep right there. And the place that it's hatched is the consciousness of the child. So it's a consciousness that takes over the host body system. Now, ready? You want to freak out and see the mystery of your existence? There it is. Someone called Giorgio Sikopoulos and tell him it's time to go get a new haircut and do a new Ancient Aliens video. There it is. Ready? Let's go. Let's kick his ass. And you know how you do it? You turn the whole world upside down so you can see them, because they hid your ability to see them by inverting you. So to show you who they are, I've inverted the world to show you who your masters are. Do you understand how profound this is now? Okay, now we're going to deconstruct this side, and we're going to go in there and fast forward it, super fast drawing. Okay, so I'm going to slowly start deconstructing pieces. Let's take off this. This is a big reptilian being right here. That's the eye of the reptilian being. There's the open mouth. And then this comes down the neck. And this actually, watch, this turns into the arm of the reptilian being. So it's really a reptile sitting here. No different than this is a serpent being, a reptilian being inside of Akhenaten. Here's the reptilian being right here, and that's the arm of the reptilian being. But let me show you something. Right here, you'll see these colored markings that are blue and green and red, and you'll see this thing that's coming down like this, and there's actually a stinger right here going into the back of her neck. This is DNA transcription. I don't want to get into all this right now. It's in the Kingdom Divided video. But you know what? I'm going to keep it simple for you. We don't need to go off on a rabbit trail. But that's DNA transcription. Now remember, the locusts that come out of the pit, what do? They sting men. Men will seek death and will not find it. Isn't it crazy? There's a stinger going in the back of her neck. And there's a stinger going in the back of his neck. Zach, can you cut up super close to that black spot right there? So this is coming together as a stinger. That's a stinger penetrating his neck. So the back of Akhenaten's neck. So anyway, very important thing that y'all know about. However, I'm not going to spend all the time to draw the whole DNA transcription. It's just too much, and it doesn't matter for everybody's brain. First, yes or no? Is that a sheep with its tongue sticking out? It's simply a yes or no answer. It's either a dead sheep or it's not. So, hey, Johnny, I drew a picture of you. Why'd you draw a picture of me, Alex? Do you know who you're speaking with? So now let's just jump off on a little sidetrack. Is that a sheep with its tongue sticking out? It's a yes or no. So the guy that drew this picture of Jonathan Kleck, his name's Alex, he drew the identical agenda as a hieroglyph that's 1300 BC. So now it's proven. Just proved it right in front of you. That's Alex's drawing. Here's the hieroglyph. Here's the Vatican is a snake. Moving right along, there's another picture of Jonathan Kleck with a dead sheep on top of my head, which is exactly the same as a hieroglyph, and with a goat on top of my head as well. Sheep and goats, and then when you turn it upside down, there's a serpent eating me. Same as there's a serpent eating the sheep in this thing. It's always the same thing. Serpents eating sheep. Okay, let's continue to deconstruct. Okay, ready? Okay. So now I'm going to deconstruct this. Let's get this guy off first. Now this is fascinating. When I draw this in again, y'all pay attention. This is simply the eyebrows and the open mouth of a person, like an entity, a man, woman, whatever, but it's sideways. So those are the eyes and the eyebrows and the mouth, and I'm going to rotate it sideways, and it goes right there. So I'm going to take that and put it right here. There you go. And then now, here the different serpents are. There's one serpent right here with his bottom jaw open. Here's another serpent coming up from underneath. And here's another serpent that's upside down coming from this direction. They're all eating this guy, and his neck is stretched backwards. And now I want you to see just how bizarre it is, because the hieroglyph itself doesn't make any sense. Look at this. Look at this blurb of stuff. What is all this? It almost looks like someone took a trowel and went over it or something. But the thing is, you couldn't tell what any of this is without seeing the nuances in the lines. So I'm able to see the line there. There's the semicircle there, the semicircle there. So there's the eye, there's the split mouth, there's the open jaw, and I can see it now. And I can see the other images of the serpent that are coming in from other directions because I can see the nuances. See in between my thumb, you see that eye? Can you see how obvious that is? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be able to see that snake's eye, that's the end of a snake's head. You wouldn't be able to see this. Okay, let me have the camera for a second. So you wouldn't be able to see any of that stuff if this wasn't on a light board. Every good and perfect gift comes from above, from the creator of heavenly lights, not like them who cast shifting shadows. Okay, so here we go. So let's go ahead and peel off the big mama reptile. Just call it the big mama reptile in the back. And this is her eyes. So this female reptilian, her eyes and ears are also the child that's in her lap. And there's a lot going on here too. There's the head of a sheep that's facing down here. The hand of the kid is also a reptile here. It's the end of a snake's face right there coming down, and that begins the face of a serpent going down. And then this kid's body that looks like a pork chop, that is not, look at that. You see the pork chop right here? That's not right. That's the head of like an anaconda or a python. And then it has the very distinctive markings that pythons and or boa constrictors have that go towards the eye. So there's the eye, there's the top of the head coming down, and then it just goes under. And there's the serpent eating the child that's in the lap of the queen. And the eye of the child is, or the whole head of the child is the eye of the reptilian entity. See it? There it is again. Okay, we're going to pause it. Okay, so now I'm just going to deconstruct this last piece. I told you I'm not going to worry about the DNA transcription, but the Lord showed me it's a stinger. I'm like, it's a stinger. Holy crap, it is a stinger. And so now I'm going to deconstruct the last piece. You ready? So here we go. Now, I just want y'all to look at this. Okay, ready? Now, I'm going to go like this. And there you go. And now I'm just going to simply pull this off. You can see that was all. Now I'm just going to go like this. That's a sheep. I will judge between one sheep and another, separating the sheep from the goats. So the race of goats, you know, Satan's church is an upside down 5-pointed star, the sigil of Baphomet. What is it? It's a goat. So Satan's the one that turns it all upside down. This is a cumulative sum of an entity, the evil one. This is his agenda. What's the agenda? Well, get the serpent seed inside the female. The female produces a hybrid kid with this big elongated skull. Inside the kid's head is a consciousness not only of the dead sheep, but the serpent being that just impregnated her. It makes total sense. It's the only thing that does make sense. There's nothing else that makes sense. But this makes sense, and that would make sense on, wow, so you were willing to participate in the forbidden fruit? So you got a host body. Oh, so you're being hunted for dinner, just like the clothing line YG. Hunted for dinner, just like all the stuff I show you, broken promises. All the stuff I show you is connected to this, everything. And the Bible bears this out. So now you've seen it. There it is. And now let's just go draw that in one time. And there's a record of it for a court admissible record now. Okay, guys, while I was drawing that in so we could do the high speed thing, I kept noticing a change in shadow where it was trying to draw my pen into one of the surface cuts that should be above the serpent. And so I was like, why is the artist trying to draw everything into this? And I couldn't figure it out. So that's why I drew a couple lines on the serpent's body. So you saw that in the high speed. And I was kind of wrestling, like, which shadow do I go with? And that just led to a greater revelation. You want to freak out? So Satan said, Lucifer, I'll rise above the stars of El. I'll rise above the stars of El. Okay, well, the princes of El. This serpent has DNA transcription coming up from the bottom and a set of stairs. You ready? Look at this. Unbelievable. See, these are stairs. Those are stairs that are going into the serpent. See, it's like it comes down and it goes into the serpent. And it's also the DNA transcription that I'd mentioned in the previous video. Do we have enough time?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, so to be able to see that now is insane. This is a stairway, guys. This is the serpent, the head of the serpent. And the eye of the serpent is on that's basically the genitalia of the little girl. I mean, that's just unbelievable. Just think about it. The eye of the serpent is the womb of the little girl. The eye of the serpent is the womb of the little girl. That's insane. This is a set of stairs now. I just was able to discern it. And it's because the Lord had me stuck right here. I was like, well, wait a minute, why is that going here? Because see, this one right here, I'm like, follow the shadow. And it keeps getting drug into this. And I'm like, well, it's got to match up over here for the rest of the serpent's body. And that's when I stopped and I took a look at this. And as I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, I heard in my spirit, it's a stairway. And I'm like, it's a stairway, look. Those are steps. I will ascend above the stars of El, the Most High, by using a host body system to destroy them.